Hello, friends. Welcome to Play Along Podcast, the podcast where we play through games. Another episode of our Pokemon Black and White Nuzlocke. I'm joined with Mike, as always. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Excited to be here. Like we were talking about before, long day. I was a little tired, but now the blood is pumping.
The Pokemon energy has given you life, and you're here.
Yes. Somebody played the proverbial Azure.
Azure?
How do you say that word? The flute has been played. The Snorlax has awoken. That's all that matters.
That's what we were trying to get to. The Snorlax is awake.
Yeah.
Your hoodie is like Snorlax's color a little bit. That kind of like bluish green.
Well, you're not wrong. That's a great observation. I didn't even. That was natural, guys.
Mike is cosplaying Snorlax today, an awake Snorlax. Today.
Also, low key, Jared just called me fat. So
no. You're I can't dig myself out of this hole. Anyways, getting into the episode. In the last episode, we had ended with wrapping up our time beating Lenora at Nakreen City Gym. And right before that, the museum director came and said there was some hubbub going on in the museum. So we leave the museum and see that Team Plasma is back here up to some shenanigans, and they're trying to steal the Dragonite skull. Mm-hmm. And I think
there was some commotion.
Yeah.
And they took a skull and skedaddled, and everyone was in a panic.
I just don't know why they wanted the skull.
I don't know, dude. They dress like Knights Templar, so
that's fair. Any kind of logical thought process is probably not up Team Plasma's route. But now we have to help Lenora and the director go and get back this skull. As we walk out of the museum building, we run into Bianca and Sharon, who also join in the search for Team Plasma. This is also our first introduction to Berg, who is the bug-type gym leader of Castelia City. He is the third gym leader, but we run into him here, and he also helps us in the search for the skull. So Bianca and Sharon stays at the museum. Bianca heads towards the route before, and we are heading towards Pinwheel Forest to go investigate and try to find Team Plasma there. And we do. Team Plasma is inside of this forest, but before we do that, I got to pull up my encounters. Okay. So I said last time that I don't know if this counts, but this is what I'm doing because I make the rules here. Outside of Pinwheel Forest and inside, technically both say Pinwheel Forest, but different counter pull, different areas. I make the rules. So I got 2 encounters here. And outside of Pinwheel Forest, I ran into an Electrike, who I named Troy from Troidal Power. And I love Electrike.
Good old Troidal.
Good old Troidal Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, did you write down what you caught here? What kind of Pokemon did you catch?
I did. Actually, I did a few things. Since I didn't necessarily keep track of who I had after each gym last time, I made sure I did that. Mm-hmm. And I tried to, since my catching rules are a lot different than yours, I can catch. Yeah, I'm catching as many things as I want. I did try to keep track, but I didn't keep track of every single thing I caught. Also, I was having some weird save issues. Where I would save the game, go through, like I would see your game is saving. You have the like little notebook writing thing, and then it stops like I have every other time. But a few times it didn't save. So when I like opened the ROM back up,
it was like a previous save.
A little bit of progress. Weird. Yeah, it wasn't like it was never like losing hours of progress or like I beat the gym leader and then I my save didn't work. It was just like I caught 3 or 4 Pokemon and then I turned it on and I'm like,
now you don't have those 3 or 4 Pokemon.
I'm like, oh dang it. So I will say I'll just note the ones that ended up making the team. So in Pinwheel Forest, I unfortunately had a death. So we lost Tails, the Vulpix. So
no.
Yeah, so just as a refresher, my team after last episode, I had Snips, which is my Snivy. I had Tails, my Vulpix. Knuckles was my Riolu. Whiskers, my Whiscash. And Dong, my Bronzong. And Chompers, my Gibble.
Dong.
Yep, good old Dong.
Good old Dong.
Pinwheel Forest, right out the gate, we lost Tails. I did catch a Crustle, which I've never used before.
I love Crustle.
And
I love him in Pokemon Unite too.
Yes. Trust in the Crust. He's so good in Pokemon Unite.
Trust in the Crust.
Yeah, man. Never used Crustle before, and as we established last episode, I'm a huge fan of bug Pokemon, so I was like, of course I gotta get this guy on the team now that we have a slot open.
Gotta get him on there.
So I named my Crustle Kloof because it's Cloth adjacent in my mind. And we lost.
You're trying to bring Cloth back somehow, some way.
So my Krabby named Cloth died last episode, so I had to replace him with Kloof, my Crustle.
Cloth's cousin Kloof.
Yeah.
I actually also had a death, and a very kind of sad / embarrassing one, in Pinwheel Forest against one of the Galactic grunts that are there. Plasma. I wrote down Galactic grunt. Why did I do that? This is not Diamond and Pearl. Plasma grunt. I lost Troy. Sorry, Troy.
That was quick.
As soon as you showed up, you didn't make it to a Hoot using Uproar.
Ow.
You would think, like, in my brain, I was like, electric type. We'll go out to Electrike. Electrike has no electric type moves at this level, and the Uproar I wasn't paying attention, and it killed my Electrike. So, sorry, Troy. As soon as I caught you, you were immediately killed by a Hoot.
That's unfortunate.
Inside Pinwheel Forest, I caught a Nidoran, who I named Nave. Nave is from the Gaming Together podcast. So, shout out to Nave. You are my Nidoran.
Male, female?
This is male, and I found a Moonstone too, so I will be getting a Nidoking at some point.
Nice, I love the Nidos, man. King and Queen,
love the
they're
Nido
awesome.
lines. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I did was in the last episode, Mike had a bunch of fossils that he revived. All my fossils were the exact same Pokemon, and instead of taking all of them, I just took one. So the one I took was the Helix fossil, which turned out to be a Wingull, which I named Adam. So Adam the Wingull.
Nice. I will say one more thing before we move on. At this point, both my 5 and my 8-year-old daughters. I don't have one daughter that is simultaneously different ages. But yes, my daughters were watching me play, and they were nicknaming my Pokemon that I was catching. So I caught a Spheal that they named Puffy. Zora that they named Blue, a Skitty that they rightfully named Kitty, and a Cyndaquil named Sunny.
Oh, damn! Cyndaquil's a good catch.
Yeah, I caught quite a few starters, but I'm not going to use them because I feel like that's cheating. Because, I mean, the starter Pokemon are pretty sweet.
Yeah, the starters are pretty great. Nice, dude. Cyndaquil's cool. Typhlosion's a great Pokemon. I love Typhlosion.
Yeah, I think I just have this weird, like, I guess, hipster approach to all fire Pokemon, pretty much.
Starters.
I'm just like, fire types. Never going to use one of those.
Who needs them? No, don't need them, not me. But we continue into Pinwheel Forest, and as we go through here, we are accosted by a series of Team Plasma grunts in trying to find the grunt that has the Dragonite skull that was stolen from the museum. Ultimately, we do find one, pin him down in the corner, and take the skull. And this is when we're introduced to some new characters, which is, what's his name? I'm trying to find out his name.
I don't know his name, but I see what you did there. We pinned him down in Pinwheel Forest.
Pinwheel Forest, yeah. I'm going to say that was intentional.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't remember his name, but we get introduced to one of the 7 sages that work underneath Getsis and his team. And he comes in and tells the Team Plasmograph that this skull is not actually the skull they're looking for the legendary dragon. So we know there's a legendary dragon somewhere. And then they run away and they leave. But we now know that there's these 7 sages, and they're trying to revive a dragon at some point, which we clearly Reshiram, Zekrom.
Yeah. Clearly, they've never seen Jurassic Park. It never works out well.
It never works out. Leave the dinosaurs alone. We don't need to revive mammoths. We don't need to revive dinosaurs. Just leave that be.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. But we head back to the museum and return the skull to Lenora, who is very excited. Does she give you anything? I don't think she does.
No, just a high five.
Wow, Lenora, we gave you your Dragonite skull back. At least a TM or something. Jesus.
I do like in the randomizer, like when you beat the gym leader and they give you a TM, they're talking about what the actual TM is, and then I get like
TM is at all.
Yeah, I get like Calm Mind, and they're like, "Here's Volt Tackle" or whatever, and I'm like, "I wish it was called Volt Tackle."
Not the same thing.
I liked in the forest being randomly ambushed by the rangers. You're walking.
Yeah, they're
around.
like hiding in bushes and like little leaves throughout the forest.
That was so cool. This game is full so far. Well, I guess we're like halfway through. But like just the small little things like that aren't really important. I've loved. They're super cool.
Yeah. I actually really love the ranger sprite in this game too. Like the sprite is really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now we can head and go back through Pinwheel Forest. And our next destination is Castelia City, the location of the 3rd gym. And this is really cool because another just example of Pokemon Black and White and Gen 5 kind of playing with the perspective. Because we get to a Sky Arrow Bridge.
Yes.
I think that's what
super cool.
And it's just this massive bridge. And as you're walking through it, the camera continuously like pans in some dramatic ways, and it zooms out, and you can see all these cars going beneath the bridge, and a boat goes across. It's a super cool shot. I remember playing this and just being like my mind blown at some of these things. I was like, this is peak Pokemon. It's not going to get any better than this.
Yeah, it hasn't.
Gen 5 is the best gen. But yeah, I love the like when they do like these fun camera angles. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I like how they really play up like the scale of, because you're heading into like the big city of the region, right? Well, at least that I know of, because I've never played this before. And this hasn't been something that they have been able to do, like, technically, like, in the previous gens. So it was super cool to see them, like, really pay a lot of attention to it. And then it's just really unfortunate because I feel like that's the only time they ever did this, is this generation. And then, like, every other one, there's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to do any of that stuff ever again.
Yeah, no, I think they nailed it with like talking about Castelia City being like the heart of Unova almost. Like, I think Unova is supposed to be roughly designed around the US, and Castelia City is supposed to be like New York City. Even though New York City is nowhere near a vast desert like Castelia City is. But like Mike was saying, you get that scale going over Sky Arrow Bridge and then getting into Castelia City for the first time. You could see like Castelia City is huge, at least compared to what we've like explored so far. There's so many houses you can go into. You can go up and down alleyways. Like Castelia City is giant.
Yeah, they have like the skyscraper buildings where now, of course, you're limited to like a floor or two in these tall buildings,
right?
But that's still cool. But I love how many people are in the like side streets you go
like
down.
The side streets, they're just like walking past you and everything.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. I like it.
It feels lived in, definitely, like more populated than any of the other cities that we've seen. Even like some modern stuff I don't think have done, at least to the scale in the version of like a DS game that Black and White has done. But Mike, did you do some exploring in Castelia? Did you go inside some of these big buildings and everything?
Oh, I went into every single one.
Talk to every NPC.
Every person that you could talk to. I like the one building. Well, it's really the only building that has like quite a few trainers to battle, and you get to like the guy at the desk, company. And it's like the janitor that's really the boss or whatever.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, the battle company, it was great because, like you were saying, there is a series of trainers there, and then you get to the very end, and it's the janitor, but the janitor is actually like the head of the company, which I thought was funny. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'd just like to be a janitor to like scope out people and see if they have what it takes." And I was like, "That's hilarious."
Very Control-esque. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh yeah. Control's so good.
Janitor ran the bureau.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he gives you the EXP share, which is a pretty important item to just kind of pass up.
I was wondering if we were going to get that, and it's still. I know a lot of people disagree with this. It's a hot take.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, hot
but
take.
I kind of like the individual experience share as opposed to the.
I definitely think. Yeah, I definitely think it has more intentionality to it. Right, you have to decide who you want to gain more experience, and you have to be intentional with who you're bringing in and taking out to level where and overall level you don't have to worry about that. Like, well, that's what's like games like Let's Go and some of those, you just have your one main and everyone's going to get experience. You can't over level your one mon because everyone will get equal experience. So I agree. I think there is situations where that's great in terms of like grinding. It is nice to have a full shared experience, but I see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I think, not to spend too much time on this part, but one of the things that I really disliked about Sword and Shield, which is the first one that I played that had the team-wide experience share.
Yeah.
Because I basically played Ruby and Sapphire and then like fell off the Pokemon train. And came back like a year after Sword and Shield was released, or maybe I bought it. I don't remember.
Did you do any of the DLC for Sword and Shield?
No, because I didn't even beat it. Like I couldn't even make it.
We might have to do that for our little show here. Play through Sword and Shield again.
And here's another hot take. I still haven't beat. I don't even remember which one I have, Scarlet or Violet.
Scarlet or
Violet.
It's bittersweet because the ending of Scarlet and Violet is so good that you want more and it ends. Really? And you're like, wow. Yeah. It's what I wish the entire game was.
I'm gonna have to power through it. I will say I do like some of the Gen 8 Pokemon though. And I do like some of the Gen 9 Pokemon. But anyways, where was I going? Oh, the one thing that made me stop Sword and Shield was because of the team-wide experience, I was just massively over-leveled for everything. Yeah. So I literally never lost a fight.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that
sounds about right.
This is too much. But I like the individual one because you can you have less grinding.
On and off.
Yeah, you have less grinding. You don't have to have it on if you don't want. But you can still bring on, which is nice for permadeath runs. You can bring on a lower level guy that you maybe need to train up because one of his buddies, is now 6 feet under.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely helps with that.
Yeah.
now we try to head to the Castelia City gym, which is our next destination. And as we get in there, we bump into Burgess. He's actually leaving the gym, and he talks to us about, again, more Team Plasma shenanigans. They have stolen someone's Pokemon, and they're out in a dock. We got to figure out who it is and why the Pokemon was stolen. Yeah. When we get to the docks, we realize it's Bianca. Bianca's there with another individual whose name is Iris. She's another character going to be an important character in this too. But they stole her Muna. Muna was the Pokemon that was taken.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Bianca has definitely been getting the short end of the stick in this in this game so far.
Yeah. I will say I forgot to mention this one. We're back, at the very start of where we picked up. I've really enjoyed how the gym leaders are like helping you out here. I think it's really cool use of the characters and making them actual characters instead of just like, oh, need to get a gym badge, so let's go to the gym.
Right. Go get gym badge, leave.
Yeah.
Character never shows up again after that.
Yeah, I like it.
Did you watch there was like a short animated series where they did like 12 episodes and each one covered a gen, but they were like really well animated. I don't remember what it was. But there is an episode they do in black and white, and it is really cool. If you like the gym leaders being integrated into like the story, you're gonna love the back half of this game, because the gym leaders definitely come back and interact with the narrative, which again, it's just cool. It's cool world building. Like, they're people in this game and they're not just gym leaders,
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, but the Team Plasma thing is pretty straightforward. You run into the city. You have to try to chase down this Team Plasma grunt as you see him running through. It's funny because like he comes to us, he runs down one of the docks, realizes that it's us, and then turns and like hightails it the opposite direction, and then we just kind of follow him into one of the buildings that Team Plasma has like secured as their base, I think is what they are. And the Getis is here again, and he is with the sages. And kind of, again, goes like more in depth on his spiel about trying to liberate the world of Pokemon, restarting the world, and getting Pokemon away from the evil clasps of trainers. One thing's interesting. I don't know if you noticed, but Berg almost like agrees with him. He's like, I think what you're saying is true, but I think you're going about it in the wrong ways. Like, we could be friends with Pokemon, and that can kind of be a consensual partnership between the two of them. And I was like, oh, that's like wild for one of the gym leaders to be like, I agree with what you're doing, evil team, but you're just doing it the wrong way. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
That is. Yeah, exactly. Because you get that moral ambiguity going on. Because essentially what he's fighting for, it does make sense. It really does.
We've talked about this for years. Like,
Like, pretty much. You're just, what is it? Like, every Pokemon you catch essentially gets Stockholm Syndrome. And, like, what are they going to do? Not be your friend? Like, they're literally enslaved inside this Pokemon. I
saved you from the wilderness.
Yeah.
I saved you and pulled you out of your home.
Yeah, exactly. I saved you from your home and family. Love me.
Exactly. Your loved ones. Yeah, the whole idea of us catching Pokemon and being like their friends was always a weird concept in the first place. It's cool that Team Plasma and Black and White, like, let's dive into this a little bit and like break down why this is, and someone actually like, let's stop that from happening.
Yeah. But then I think Game Freak's like, you know what? We can't have this team too relatable. We're gonna make them kick every Pokemon they see.
Yeah, all the Munas anywhere you can see, just kick them. Muna gets a short end of the stick of this because it got kicked in the forest and it got stolen from Bianca.
Yeah.
It's not good. But they concede. Team Plasma and Gatis say, oh, you're fine, we'll move somewhere else. But essentially, like, you've won the battle, but you haven't won the war. And then they just leave. And now Brooke's like, cool, if you want to fight me, you can fight me at any point, which brings us to Castelia City's gym. Berg is a bug type trainer, and his gym theme definitely leans into that.
I loved it.
The whole theme of this gym is that you're activating gates to open up these like honey walls that you have to walk through, and as you walk through them, there's like a little bit of resistance, and you pop through the other side.
I love the sound.
Oh yeah, it's like a little like it's such a cool sound. But you're going through activating these gates and battling the gym trainers to ultimately lead to Berg. Did you have any trouble with any of the gym trainers in here? Did you have any notable gym trainer battles that you had?
Not gym trainers.
Oh, but Berg was memorable.
Yes, you could say that.
Okay, yeah, I also didn't have, like, all the gym trainers were relatively straightforward. But going into the Berg fight, so Berg has 2 Pokemon. He has a level 20 Spoink and a level 23 Glaceon. And I don't remember having a ton of trouble because I have fire types on my team. I didn't say it, but I ended the last episode. Yeah. I ended the last episode, so I had a Roggenrola, I had Bill the Rotom, CJ the Darumaka, my starter, Sire the Pignite. I think I added Nidoran onto the team, so I have Nidoran, and then I had a Wingull, I'd Adam the Wingull on my team too. But even though, like, Glaceon is a bulky Pokemon.
Yes.
Like, I have Flame Burst for my Pignite, but it was doing maybe half, maybe a little less than half too, and it was using Ice Winds to slow me down, but I didn't have any trouble with Berg. Pignite, Sire the Pignite just took it to work, took him to church.
I had a large amount of trouble with this gym.
Was it the Glaceon?
Yeah. Oh. I lost 4 Pokemon.
You lost 4, oh no.
Yes. No. Knuckles died.
No, Mike.
Dong died. I replaced.
I hate to lose your dong, man.
I know you really do. I mean, cold does that to you, right?
I
ended up replacing Tails, the Vulpix, with Vinny the Venipede. He didn't make it through, and then I lost Chompers. No. So I lost Riolu, Bronzong, Venipede, and Gibble.
Damn.
And I was really close to like just having a full wipe.
Just wiping.
Yeah. So we just had Snivy and Wishcash surviving. So, we left with Whiskers and Snips. But do you want to talk about the replacements yet, or is there anything else you want to talk about, Berg?
No, go for it.
Okay. So first off, I was really cool. I was excited to see another bug comrade,
Yep.
But then I was like, connoisseur. Oh yeah, they're not going to have bug types. So I was a little sad about that. But I just looked up his team. His team didn't look like anything special.
No, his team is like, he has a Swaddle, he has a Whirlipede, a Dwebble, and a Leavan.
Yeah. So I replaced my 4 fallen Pokemon with Manectric, who I named Flash.
Ooh. Nice.
My Crustle named Kloof.
Good old Kloof, cousin to Cloth, as we know, as lore states.
Yeah. Kloof is from West Virginia. Zola the Zweilous. Is that how you say that Pokemon's name?
Zweilous, Wireless, Potato.
Yeah. And then I caught a Weevil, and I named it Count. Because I always think like that red thing, it looks like Dracula's cape to me.
He just has like a collar popped.
Yeah, so I had to name him Count. So my team now, I have Whiskers, Snips, Flash, Kloof, Count, and Zola. Zola's pretty strong.
I mean, yeah, you seem to replace it with some heavy hitting Mon too. Like Zweilous, even though, well, I guess it won't be too late because we changed the leveling. Where at 40. He should become a Hydreigon instead of like 50s or 60s. So you should get that a little earlier in the game. But hey, man, I mean, you did lose a Gibble, which
that's
Garchomp is such a good Pokemon. Yeah,
Kloof is like Crustle is pretty sweet. Like I'm loving having Crustle.
Bug Rock's a cool type too.
Yeah, and Flash was cool when he finally learned an electric move.
That was my problem. That's how I lost my Electric. I was like, oh yeah, electric type move. And then you like Tackle and Thunder Wave. And I was like, well, no electric type moves there.
Zola is a straight up powerhouse, just like one-shotting.
You got Dragon Rage on that?
Or am I thinking about Chompers? Because Chompers did have Dragon Rage and was just obliterating things. But I think Zola,
especially also, early game Dragon Rage, is because it does 40. It's so good. It's so good.
Count has been slow because it's I forget the specific moveset it had, but it didn't learn an ice move until like 28 or something.
Oh wow!
So Count was just sitting with the experience share and not really doing much of anything.
28. Well, I ended this last leg with very low levels.
I wonder. I'll check real quick. Maybe it's not 28 because
I think my highest was like 26 when I ended the fourth gym. But one thing too is, again, everything's randomized. So you get random TMs from the gym leaders. I got Tailwind from Berg, and I was like, oh sweet, Tailwind. I'll give it to my Wingull and I'll use that. Wingull can't learn Tailwind. How does that make sense? Wingull's a bird. It's a flying type. Tailwind. Yes. Why?
I saw an amazing meme that essentially is that, but with HMs. It's like a Machamp standing in front of a boulder, and he's like, I can't pick this up. Like a Scyther in front of the tiny tree.
I'm not strong enough. Luckily, I don't know if I said this in the first episode, but HM compatibility is open. All Pokemon can learn all HMs. Yes. So you don't have to worry about, like, you can get a Pokemon and just make it your HM slave and then not have to worry about, because HMs are awful. Like, that was one good thing that has come from modern generation Pokemon is we don't have to use HMs anymore. But going back to these old ones, having HM sucks.
All right, so I lied. Count is level 25.
Oh, okay.
And okay. Maybe it still might learn its ice move at 28 or 26, because right now it only knows Taunt, Quick Attack, Fury Swipes, and Feint Attack. Which I guess isn't
a Dark
like,
type stab, which is not terrible.
It's not terrible, but I really want
having some ice coverage would be nice.
But honestly, Whiskers has been my ace. Like, okay, Zola does no Dragon Breath, which is nice. But yeah, this Wishcash.
The Wishcash. 92
HP. Knows Wake Up Slap, Water Pulse, Water Gun, and Mud Bomb.
Wake Up Slap. That's a good set. Me and Kai have done so many Nuzlocks together. And one time he got a Barboach and he was like upset because he got a Barboach, but then realized Wishcash is, Wishcash gets Dragon Dance.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
He gets Dragon Dance. Isn't that wild? That's wild. Catfish can't dance. Everybody knows that. But afterward, we can head up to the next route, which is going into the Desert Resort, which is the desert just north of Castelia City. Before we do that, this is wild because we have both of our rival fights back to back here. Yeah. We go through the kind of intermediate like tunnel area that goes between route and route, and Bianca stops us and she wants to battle us, which I didn't jot down her team, but I don't remember her having anything that was an issue for me at all.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting the second battle, and I got really nervous.
Yeah. I did like, though, when you do that battle with Bianca, she goes to the receptionist and asks if it's okay if they have a battle inside. And I thought that, again, it's like more little world building things. And she's like, as long as there's no people in the way, you guys can have a battle. And I was like, that's cool. That's such a cool little touch.
Especially since, the whole, you destroyed your room earlier in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good.
But the second you walk out into the Desert Resort, Sharon's like, hey, we should battle too. And you get into a fight with Sharon and his team. And I mean, I didn't have any issues with it, but I hadn't done any kind of healing from the fight with Bianca's team. So being almost thrown into another battle, I was not expecting. But I came out of the Sharon fight unscathed.
Yeah,
unscathed.
Same, but I was nervous because I had no idea that was coming. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
My Wingull did evolve after this fight, so I have Pelipper. Nice. Adam the Pelipper here. And then going into my Desert Resort encounter, I ran into a Duosian, which Reuniclus is one of my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon. I love Reuniclus. And I named her Kayla from JK Games podcast. So nice. Kayla the Duosian is what I have.
Nice. I caught one of those, but this was one of the areas where I was having those save issues. So, so there were quite a few pokes that I caught and then had to recatch or didn't catch. But I caught a Trapinch.
Ooh, I did run into a Trapinch. I love Flygon. That would have been cool.
I got a Shuppet I named Casper. I just thought that was a cool name.
Cute.
And a Lileep that I called Derpy. I mean,
Lileep is pretty derpy.
I was so happy that I caught Snubble, and I even coordinated it with a heal ball. So I had the pink ball, the pink dog, and I was like,
everything was going right for you.
Yeah, until I remembered that fairy. It's not fairy type, and then I was like,
yeah, that was a Discord conversation. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah,
I was so sad because Snubble was going to be on the team. I named him Granny, and it was going to be great. But I had a streak of starting Pokemon that and I caught an Axew, which is cool. Maybe someday I'll use it.
Ooh, wow, Axews. Man, you're getting like, you have a team of pseudos over here.
I know. Hey, I love my Nuzlocks. They're great.
Yeah.
You should adopt these rules sometime. No, one day I'm going to, this is only because I haven't played this one. I'll do a regular Nuzlocke.
No, and like you can use Pokemon that you don't normally see. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But yes, the fairy typing really helps Snubble and the Gramble line, and not having that is kind of a shame.
Yeah, because I've never used them, and I really like fairy types, and I really wanted one, and didn't get one. Oh, because I right now I don't have an answer for like fighting type, so I was like, I really want a fairy type. Anyways, I caught Chimchar, Oshawott, Turtwig.
Oh wow,
Treecko.
You're just going through the starters. You're just like catching all the starters.
Caught all those starters. So and an Eevee.
That's wild. That's crazy. I didn't run into any of those. Did you go into Relic Castle and doing any exploring in there? Because that's deep into. We can only go to a certain amount because we'll go back to Relic Castle for narrative purposes later in the game. But as for right now, you can only go to a certain point. Yeah, you can explore more towards the end half of the game. But nice. I went in here and I ran into a Ditto and I killed it. On accident, because it almost killed my Rotom. It transformed into my Rotom and almost killed it. And I tried multiple balls, and I was like, this is not worth it. Yeah. I'm not going to lose a Pokemon. Ditto is not an important enough Pokemon for me to waste not only balls, but time. And I was like, whatever.
Have you ever used a Ditto?
Never.
Dude.
I've never used a Ditto. Ooh. Yeah, getting a little, we're getting... Ditto. I meant Ditto. This is a PG podcast, guys. I promise. I promise. Mike's gone. We lost him.
I might start crying. That was the best.
Oh, that was the worst slip that I probably have ever had. We're keeping it in. Screw it.
Oh my gosh.
Keep it in the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Ditto. I've never used a Ditto before in my life.
Oh man, that was great. Oh man,
that was amazing.
Sorry about that.
Have you used a Ditto before?
No.
Okay.
No. That would have been wild to like have to throw that on the team sometime.
It was interesting because I guess I don't know if it used Transform or newer generations gave it Imposter, where it automatically transforms when it comes out. But I think it just used Transform. I don't know what Ditto's ability normally is in these earlier gens.
Yeah, probably something stupid.
But I didn't do any diving deeper into Relic Castle because, like, one, I knew you were going to come back here, and two, I was just sad that I had a dumb Ditto as my encounter. So I was like, whatever, whatever, I'm out of here.
I did like the desert, like little area, the like sand.
I was gonna say, like, the desert resort area is really cool. Just the encounters and like the trainers here that are running through the desert. I think the whole like environment is really cool.
Yeah, and there's like construction going on, which is awesome because you're right outside of the city, and they call it the desert resort, but there isn't really a resort there yet.
I think that changes in Black 2 White 2, which is a cool touch.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I did like the sandstorm in battles made sense because there was one outside of the battles. It made things get dicey sometimes.
Yeah, I was like, cool touch, still annoying to get hit by Sandstorm constantly.
It made Snip's ability finally come in handy, which is like
Sandbell or something?
whatever the ability is that makes it rain.
Oh, Drizzle.
Yeah. So that was nice because I stopped, almost dying to sandstorm.
Hey, that's a useful ability because it lowers fire type super effectiveness. So at least you'll be less susceptible to fire type moves when you use your grass type. So that's actually pretty good. But that's nice not having to just, not only that, but having to go through the animation of like the other team also, because it's randomized, doesn't have teams that are built for a desert. So it's going through like the sandstorm buffing animation every time.
Encounters and battles took forever.
Oh yeah, they did. But eventually we get to Nimbasa City, which is a very bustling little town. It has its own little theme park here too. There's a musical center in the background. There's a sports stadium. This Nimbasa City has it all. Again,
I love the sports talk when you go.
Oh yeah.
So great.
You're like, these people don't know what sports are. They've never played a sport in their life.
Yeah.
But the second we get into Nimbasa City, before we can even explore, again, Team Plasma up to shenanigans. They're harassing this poor little guy and on his bike, and we have to get into a battle with them. They are a piece of cake. They didn't have anything in particular. But the gentleman is very happy that you had helped him, and he gives you a bike. We finally got our bicycle.
Yes. True story. Because of emulation.
Did you also get attacked by
what?
Team Plasma people? I said, did you also get harassed by Team Plasma people?
Yes. But no, because of emulation, I never use bikes anymore because I play with the fast forward on. So I'm just like, have you ever tried to do the bike while the fast forward is on? It
doesn't work.
It is so hard.
You know how many even just like regular running, how many doors I had missed just over and over again trying to get in there. I will say that, again, also playing emulation, pro emulation here, I'm perfectly fine with that. I usually also use the speed up. For some reason, it just doesn't work in my game. So I'm just playing that at normal speed. I've tried redoing the input and signing it to a different key, backing out and closing the program and coming back in. And I open up my Pokemon Emerald or a Game Boy game and it works fine. But for some reason, in black and white, it just won't work. So I've been playing the game at normal speeds. The bike has been great.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I am playing this on my phone through RetroArch. And on my phone, they have, I call it fast forward because the button they have on my phone, it just looks like the fast forward button.
Fast forward button, yeah.
So that's super handy because when I play anything through RetroArch on my computer, like you said, you have to assign a key to it. And it's not as right in your face, like just a little button to click. And just another heads up to anyone who may be playing this on their phone. I ran into another issue here where what is it called? The C gear or whatever that gear
the
thing
little
is?
Bottom screen that is in black and white, the C gear.
So
the online functions.
Yeah, when you open up the ROM, once you get that, it's it asks you if you want to turn it on before you actually get into your game. And I had, said no because obviously I can't use that. And then sometimes when I would play, I would just, because I'm trying to speed into the game, I would just say yes. And I think maybe that might have had something to do with my save issues. But it definitely had something to do with, I tried to go into the Ferris wheel and the game just froze and I couldn't do anything. I had to hard close it. And so I was like,
weird.
That's what I was messaging you about that one day.
Yeah.
I was like, this could be not great for our podcast if all of a sudden I can't play the ROM anymore.
Yeah, you're like, this
so
doesn't work anymore.
Okay, that's not good. And I restarted and then decided to not go to the Ferris wheel and instead went into whatever the building is all the way to the left on the same street as the Poke Center. It's some battle thing, I think.
Yeah, Battle Institute. Or the Subway or the Institute?
It's the Institute. I went in there, tried to talk to the guy because I had no idea what it was, and my game froze again. And I was like,
weird.
I was like, no, this is not good. And I tried to like save the ROM on my phone and like upload it to Drive and throw it on the computer to see if it would make a difference. But
Did you run into the same issues?
But I couldn't because I'm 35 and dumb. I couldn't figure out how to like save the state of the ROM because what I uploaded from my phone to Drive and then downloaded on the computer, it was just like a new ROM. It wasn't.
It was just the ROM itself.
Yeah, it wasn't the save file. So then I had panicked even more, and then I was just like, I'm just gonna make sure I don't turn on the C gear thing, and then that fixed it. So it was, all the panic was for nothing.
Yeah.
It was just don't turn the C gear on, you idiot.
Yeah, because the C gear was like we were saying, is how you connected and did a lot of the online functionality, which clearly you can't do because we're emulating the games. But it probably had the game's brain broken because it's like C gear's on, but I can't connect, and it just stopped working. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm on Mac, so the program I'm using is called OpenEmu. It's similar to RetroArch, where it just has like a series of emulators. You just download the ROMs and files and play them that way. But it will automatically like save state at any point. So I don't think I've ever saved in game because when I close, it just takes where I am in the game, and when I open it up, it just redoes that again. Nice. Unless I like actually close the game itself or delete that save file, it'll automatically do it, which has been nice.
Nice, so that is nice.
Don't have to worry about that. But Nimbasa City has a lot of things to do around here, things you can explore. Did you get into any of explore the subway or talk to any of the any notable NPCs in here?
Yeah,
other than
I did
like
everything.
narrative stuff.
I tried the subway. It was fun. I made it through a few battles on like doubles or whatever. Yeah. And then I realized that I'm not getting experience, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I like the concept, though, because I do like double battles. Double battles are fun, so it's just fun to do that. And the whole thing where you just pick 2 of your Pokemon, I thought was really cool. Of course, I went into the sports ball fields and battled some baseball players and basketball players in the middle of the field and the court. And then there was just a random guy walking around with football pads on, like in the street, I think.
Yeah, probably just walking down the street, full gear.
Yeah, totally normal. Yeah. I loved. Well, okay. First off, I don't know how I felt about this conversation with Bianca and like that's the gym leader, right? That came up and intervened with her and her father.
Yeah.
Like
Alicia.
This isn't going to be. It's probably going to be an unpopular take, but I just feel like maybe it's because I'm a parent, but like, man, I was just so annoyed about this random gym leader coming up and being like,
"What if you were just like
being like,
having a conversation with your
Dad,
daughter?
Don't tell this girl how to live her life. You could do whatever you want." And I'm just like, bro. Shut up! Like,
it's none of your business, girl. Yeah. This is your family.
I was all for Bianca and her dad working things out. Like they came to an understanding, but man, the gym leader just really annoyed me. So I'm like, get out of here.
Definitely didn't help the situation. Yeah. It is funny, like as you get older and look at these things in a different light, being like, I mean, Bianca's dad has some legitimate concerns, and maybe he's going about it in the wrong way. Maybe try to see Bianca's passions through her eyes and go that way. But imagine if you were just like on the street, like having an argument with your daughter or son or whatever, and someone comes up and be like, "Don't listen to him. Follow your dreams and do what you want." It's like, lady, you don't even know the situation. Right. What are you doing here?
Right. And then I go like a step further because I'm like, imagine like somebody who this game is actually targeted towards, like a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, gets to this part and they're like, yeah, my parents don't let me do the absurdly outrageous things I want to do because, they're like reasonable parents and don't want me to like explore the continent all by myself. at the age of 10.
That just sounds like a bad pet. In Pokemon world, that's a bad parent. You got to explore. Right. You got to explore the world at 10. That's just what you do.
But I'm like, okay, so a little kid's gonna see that, and then they're gonna see like that parents obviously listen to complete strangers who 100% agree with the child's point of view, and I'm like, man, I'm too old for this. That's the moral of the story.
Like a kid. Yeah, exactly. A kid like wanting to like do something for a parent or get something, and the parent says no, and then the kid goes and then finds a complete stranger to kind of back up this point, be like, "Excuse me, mom, this person said I could have that, so what are you gonna say now?" And it's like, well, caught me in a technicality. I guess you're right, son. Yeah. You win.
No, you're a dumb kid. Go back to your room.
Exactly. There is an NPC in the Battle Institute that gives you strength, an HM for strength. So another thing that's interesting that is just kind of like tucked away here and not given it any important moment or anything.
Yeah, and I think there's another NPC that's like, yeah, I guess some dude just giving strength out, like the third house on the left on Maple Street. I don't know if you want to go over there.
And you're like, hey, thanks, man. I'll go check that out. But we head into our destination, which is the Nimbasa City gym, which is next to, like Mike had said before, this carousel. But before we do that, we see N, the individual that we ran into in the very beginning, in front of the carousel and have what I can only imagine is a very romantic date with him in the Ferris wheel as we go up there.
Was there conversation? Or
yeah, they had like dialogue talk.
Okay, because it was blank for me, so I didn't get any of this.
That's so weird.
Yeah, so
he just pretty much goes on a spiel of him. We find out that he is like the quote unquote prince, or he's like the leader or one of the leaders of Team Plasma.
Okay,
is what he's in association with Team Plasma, and his whole goal is he's wanting to like truly understand Pokemon. And like when we first met him, he wanted to hear our Pokemon's voice and hear what they're saying, almost alluding to that he could communicate with Pokemon one way or another. But that's what his goal is that that's why he's also like okay with what Team Plasma is doing, because he knows that there is circumstances and situations where people are taking advantage of Pokemon. So he's all for the whole liberate people from Pokemon kind of situation. But we get down and we have a battle with him. I didn't have any issues with N. Piece of cake.
Yeah, that was easy peasy. But that makes a lot more sense about what happens when you come out of the Ferris wheel. Knowing that.
With the Team Plasma people, and they're like King N or Prince N. Or, I don't know what his actual goal is in the hierarchy, but he is a higher up and or leader of Team Plasma. There's the big reveal here is he's part of Team Plasma too.
Nice. Yeah, and then he just kind of storms off with them, right? After you beat him.
Yeah, he storms off. He's all angry, and he leaves with the other two Team Plasma grunts that are right there. But now we can go ahead and fight the Nimbasa City gym, which is just a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's a theme park. It's super cool. You walk in and you take like these roller coaster cars to different sections of the gym, battling trainers along the way. But this one, at least aesthetically, is one of my favorite gyms just because of how cool the design is of the whole roller coaster like motif.
Yeah, I like these. I guess puzzles. I mean, they're not really puzzles, but like
quote unquote puzzles.
These little things. Because like again, some of the ones in Scarlet and Violet like are really stupid. And like these aren't like groundbreaking, but they're thematically like correct and like not absurdly over the top. Like I'm pushing a 3-story olive through an obstacle course. Like
you didn't like the olive puzzle?
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
no, I get it, and it just where those ones feel like a little bit of like almost like a tacky mini game. Yeah. Again, the Nimbasa City gym feels part of this world, and it being a theme park and everything just leads into the theatrics of Nimbasa. It's right next to the Ferris wheel. Again, we have the musical, we have the stadium, like events like this and big like social gathering kind of things is almost what the theme of Nimbasa City is. So it fits that, and it leads into like the lore of the world too.
Yeah, and like the museum one makes sense. Like, you know, you're looking through books in a museum. Bergs makes sense, even though a bug gym leader in like a huge city is kind of weird when you think about it. But the puzzle like makes sense to his type, right?
Going through giant honey walls.
Yeah,
Walls made of honey.
yeah, I like it. Can we talk about the musical thing? Because I forgot about it until you did it. I actually like went through one.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. Oh, did you? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Because again, third thing. Okay, moral of the story: if you're playing this on your phone, you need to listen to this podcast because I'm going to tell you all of the ways to work around the things.
All the ways to avoid issues.
So
with this.
after I figure out the freezing at the Ferris wheel and the Battle Institute,
yeah,
I'm exploring. I go into the musical place because you're drug in there by Bianca.
Yeah.
And they're like, dress up your Pokemon you picked. And I was like, all right, Flash, let's do this. And I go to, every other game that has been I guess, DS game. Pokemon Conquest is a DS game, right? It's not 3DS.
Conquest is DS,
Okay.
yeah.
So in Conquest, I think the touchscreen has worked.
Works.
When I
And it did not work in
emulated
this situation.
Ultra Moon through Citra on my phone, the touchscreen works, which actually is super cool, by the way. It did not work for Black, so I'm like, okay, how the heck am I supposed to like drag this stupid top hat on my freaking Flash here? And I couldn't back out of it, so again, I had to like hard reset and then figure it out. It turns out you can go into the settings of RetroArch on your phone and make sure that the touchscreen is enabled. That fixed that problem.
It just wasn't turned on.
Yeah, so
okay.
did that.
Playing it on,
but then I watched the musical thing, and it was so funny, dude. It was so great. I loved it. Just my
so I totally forgot about that.
Just flipping around on
just bopping around. Oh god, yeah. That's with the whole situation with Bianca and her dad happens after we go into the musical theater with her and do a little bit of that. But it's the same. It's like contests. I never did any of the contests or anything, and like Emerald didn't really care. I did a little bit of it in like Ruby and Sapphire, but not like. I didn't get into contest grinding or anything like that in these. So
I did because I played like the first 3 gens like so much, like that was pretty much the only game I played back then. That I do remember doing the contest a lot in Ruby and Sapphire just because I was like, I love this freaking game. I'm gonna do as much of everything as possible.
Like my favorite generation. Yeah, 100%. Before we get into Elisa here in the gym, I actually need to do a little grinding because in looking up her levels, I realized that her highest level was 27. And my Pokemon, even after the gym, were not close to 27. So I was going to do some grinding. You can access Route 5, Route 16, and if you go deep into Route 16, you can get into Lost Lorn Forest. So I did all of those battling the trainers before I fought the 4th gym here, which means I got encounters in all those places too. So Route 5, which I think is west of Nimbasa City, I ran into a Totodile.
Nice.
Yeah, love Totodile. Named him Nick from Friday Night Gamecast. Shout out to you, Nick.
It's a great Totodile.
He's not on the team yet. I know Nick the Totodile. And there's some cool trainers that you can fight on that route as well. It's the one just to the left of the city. After that, I went right to Route 16, battled some trainers. In the grass, I ran into a seal who I named after Neil from MK PodQuest. And Neil's Discord name is Doom Guy. So I named my seal Doom Guy.
Oh, man. I was really starting to jive with Neil the Seal.
Oh, Neil the Seal is so much better. Damn it. I don't know when the name rater is, but you're right. Neil the Seal is
He's
so
right
good.
Here. That was a bad one. Doom Guy for Seal. It's funny. I forget what. Oh, I was watching somebody, like a very small streamer on Twitch who I randomly stumbled upon. I like watching him do his Nuzlocke and stuff while I'm working. But anyways, he was running through Heart Gold right now or something, and he was fighting. One of the gym leaders has a dugong, right? Maybe I don't remember. He was battling a dugong, and I was like, Man, that's another one of those Pokemon that I like really want to use sometime that I never did. Just looks so cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used a Seal or a Dugong in a playthrough before. So I'm excited at some point if Doom Guy and surname Neil the Seal ever comes back into fruition.
Yes, you must protect Doom Guy with at all costs.
My life. Until I can rename him Neil the Seal.
No. Doom Guy's actually a pretty cool name.
Doom Guy's good. Okay, I'll keep it. I also went into Lost Lorn Forest, which is kind of a little alcove just north of Route 16, and I ran into a Machop, who I named Pixel Rick from Pixel Project Radio. We made the joke. Kai made Pickle Rick, Pixel Rick, so that's what I named him. Named him Pixel Rick.
Nice.
The Machop. Machop, one that I've used quite a lot. I don't think I've used a Machamp as frequently just because of the issue of needing to trade in games like this. So maybe I'll run a Machop. I don't know. I kind of like the team that I'm rocking with now. So if anybody dies.
How many extra Pokemon do you have?
At this point, before 4th gym, I have those 3. So I had my team, and then I have Totodile, Seal, and Machop.
Oh, okay.
Those were the 3 extra that I now have on top of my team.
Nice.
But yeah, so those were the counters I got. Did a little grinding before Elisa of the gym, but eventually we do get to the end of the Nimbasa City gym and fight Elisa, which, oh man, she was something. I don't know if you jotted down what her first Pokemon was.
That doesn't matter. All that matters is that last Pokemon.
The Frostless. So I don't remember what her first one was, but she had something that I didn't have any issues with. And then she had a Survivor level 25 that kept paralyzing everything that I had with Glare. And then she had this level 27 Frostless. And this Frostless was a nightmare trying to figure it out. Again, I went through this pretty fine, and I have a fire type. I have 2 fire types on my team at this point, right? No, I took CJ, the Darumaka. I took him off the team and replaced it for Duocean. So I was running a Duocean at this point too. But so I still have I have Sire the Pig Knight at this point too. So I was like, oh yeah, fire type, it'll be fine. But again, I kept getting paralyzed by the Survivor, ended up taking it out and fine. I use Flame Charge on the Frostless, and it does nothing to this thing. The problem is Frostless also has Omnious Wind. So it got 2 of the Omni boosts, which if you get the boost from Ominous Wind, it boosts all of your stats by 1, and it got that twice. So it was at +2 with everything at this point, and Flame Charge was not doing the trick. And I got it down to enough health where I was like, I need a safe switch in. Something has to die.
Yeah.
So looking through my team, I had some ones that I probably weren't as strong or were more willing to sacrifice. But I've used Wingull and Pelipper in lots of playthroughs before. So unfortunately, Adam the Pelipper was used as death fodder to heal up my Pig Knight, send Pig Knight back in and take out the Frostless eventually. But it was a struggle. At one point, I had sent in my Rock and Roll. I was like, I rock type. I'll use that. Super effective against ice. And it used one Icy Wind, or maybe it used Ominous Wind and brought Rock and Roll down to 2 health. Yeah. And I was like, nope. Get him out of here as soon as possible. So unfortunately, I lost a Pelipper in that battle, but he was the only one. And he died for a good cause because his death made me able to beat that Frostless. But
took one for the team.
That Frostless was a menace.
Yes. I made it through this gym with no deaths, but
hell yeah,
very close. Actually, no, it wasn't really that close. Whiskers came through here with Wake Up Slap. But I got hit with one Icy Wind. I forget. I think I was using, because I was going to do the same thing as you. I was thinking, Crustle got a rock move.
Yeah.
I'll smash him with Rock Blast or whatever he has.
Yep, that's honestly the same thing.
One Icy Wind got real low, and I was like, all right, Whiskers, you're going to slap the crap out of this Frostlass. And then Whiskers was just, he's a beefy boy, so, a couple wake-up slaps, and we were good to go. But I was like, oh no, we're not having a Berg situation here. We're not going to lose 2/3 of our team.
Half the team. Yeah, exactly. I will note that in doing this, getting up to Nimbasa, I did evolve my Nidoran into the Nidorino. So I have a Nidorino at this point.
Nice.
I do have a Moonstone, but I'm waiting because you know that Stone evolutions don't get a lot of level up move sets. Nidoking does not have a lot of level up moves. So I'm waiting until 41 where Nidorino gets Poison Jab. And so I'm going to get Poison Jab and then evolve him at that point. So, but no, like looking at my team, so I ended that fight. I have Nidorino, Knave the Nidorino level 25, Kayla the Duosion level 26, Sire the Pig Knight level 23, Slade the Rock and Roller level 24, and Bill the Rotom level 24. But Slade has 2 health because I haven't gone to the Pokemon Center yet or anything. Kayla has 8 health and is paralyzed. Pig Knight has 37 health and is paralyzed, and my other 2 Mon are perfectly healthy. But
Dang.
3 out of my Pokemon were on death's door. And I lost my Pelipper, unfortunately, Adam.
Yeah, my levels, from when I was looking earlier, I'm like 22 through 25, right around there.
Yep, that's about where I am.
And yeah, I ended with Whiskers, Snips, Flash, Kloof, Count, and Zola. So,
You're just keeping the squad together.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I've for a while up until this gym, I was just rolling with 5 because I wasn't sure what I wanted the 6th to be.
What you use it for that 6th?
And I ended up with Weevil, but I don't feel great about it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel great about what I have to replace it with either. Even though I have a lot of stuff to replace it with, I'm not feeling great.
I do want a fire type at some point, but I feel the same way about my Pig Knight because it's a starter and I've used Pig Knight and Emboar before. So it's like I kind of want to use new Pokemon. So I do have an open spot now, which I probably will fill with Seal just because, again, I haven't used a Seal before. But I'm excited to, I feel like I haven't ran a Nidoking in a playthrough in so long, and I've never run a Gigalith, so I'm hopefully Slade can survive long enough to become a Gigalith.
That's also such a rad name, Slade.
Yeah, Slade. But I've used Reuniclus multiple times, and I have no problem with running Reuniclus again because it is probably my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I do have a Grimer, which I have recently fell in love with.
Muck is cool.
But it was a Alolan Muck, which was super cool.
Yeah. Poison Dark.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I already did that. And then all the other Pokemon that I'm interested in are like overlapping types, so I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, that's what I'm also trying to be cognizant of, too. That's why I got rid of my Darumaka for Duosion, because I already had 2 fire types. So I was like, I'll bring some Psychic type in, bring that coverage as well. And when I bring in my Seal, I'll have my Water Fire. No Grass right now, but I have Electric to deal with any water types that I run into. I have my Rotom.
Nice. Frostlass, another Pokemon that I really want to play with sometime.
That's one of Kai's favorites, too. He loves Frostlass.
Yeah, it's such a cool looking, it looks amazing. I love the visuals of Frostlass.
Oh, I love its design. And like I said, it's strong. It's a powerhouse, for sure. Ominous Boost, all those ice moves, it's so good. Ice Ghost is such a cool typing.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Which I don't think we have seen any others.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And Glalie just normal ice. I think Snorunt and Glalie are normal ice, and then Frostless gets the ghost typing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super cool. I wouldn't mind using one of those.
Super cool.
One other thing before we wrap up or wherever you want to take this. So typically what happens when I play any Pokemon game lately is I get my initial 6 Pokemon that I'm satisfied with. Yeah. And then my team never changes. So by the first gym, I just use the same team through the rest of the game. And I played through, I want to say it was Infinity, a fan game. and they had a new evolution for the Nidos called like Nido Rook.
Oh,
And
that's super cool.
I used that for the entire playthrough, and like by the time you're done with the playthrough in that game, your Pokemon are in like the 70s, like low 80s. So I had like a level 80 something Nidoruch, and I was like, I loved it. It was cool.
That's what I'm excited for us. That's eventually to tackle some of these fan games that have some new Pokemon. So that'll be interesting. But Mike, before we wrap up and get out of here for the evening, I'm curious for you because maybe not episode wise, but at least like gym and story wise, we are kind of like at that halfway point of the gyms. You know, we're 4 deep. How are you feeling about Pokemon Black and White at this point?
I'm really liking it, and I'm glad that we recorded because I've been like really wanting to get back into it.
I've been dying for it too. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. Like we've talked about, I think the story is a cool concept. I think N's a cool character, and now that I know that he's like the Plasma Prince, we'll just call him.
Ooh, the Plasma Prince.
I'm telling
that
you,
alliteration.
Nickname Raider. This guy. Right here.
It's right there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm really enjoying like each city or zone that we've been in so far. They've been unique and alive feeling, lively. I don't know. And thematically, the gyms have been super cool. I like how the gym leaders are coming in and intervening in the story, except for that one stupid lady. So I'm excited to see how that continues. And I can't wait to see I don't know, everything from the story and like what new cities and towns we get into and like what they're like. I don't want to say gimmick because that sounds like a dirty word, but like what their
gimmick's fine.
Unique, flavor is to Unova.
Their shtick, their hook.
Yeah. Those are much better words than gimmick. Gimmick just sounds like negative.
Yeah.
Because it is.
But I will say that as this episode is recorded, I've been slowly slipping away into the darkness.
I know. I wondered, like, are you in like a total eclipse over there? Like, what happened?
I know. The problem is a lack of USB outlet ports. So between having everything, my ring light had to be one that was the least important in this situation. So,
but I mean, like,
took the hit.
It was like it looked like your room had natural light in it. I don't know if like your lighting is just that great.
That was just natural light from outside, and now it's
got like I mean, how long have we been recording?
It's
actually
15.
3 days later.
Yeah. I've been in a coma this whole time. Jared, wake up. Oh, man. But yeah, that is all for this episode of Pokemon Black and White Nuzlocke. In the next episode, we will be heading to Driftveil City and Mistralton City to take on Clay and Skyla, the 2 gyms there, and tackle any plasma shenanigans that will come our way. I will say, like, with the narrative that I mean, it's probably not bad for a Pokemon game because that's what they expect, but it is kind of a slow burn. I think at this point going forward, we are going to see more and more plasma involvement in the story and interacting with plasma a lot more. Where at this point, it's kind of sprinkles here and there, and being part of Team Plasma was kind of the biggest thing, narrative plot-wise, that has happened so far. But the plot should pick up going from here forward too. But it is definitely back heavy in its narrative for sure.
Nice.
But I'm excited to tackle that, and I'm excited to get there as well. Mike, thanks for joining me. This is fun as always. I'm excited to talk more Pokemon. Guys at home, literally, we like stopped recording the first episode, and we're like, when are we recording episode 2? When is this happening? When can we do this?
Yeah. Here's 700 ideas for different.
Yeah, it was less like let's focus on the Nuzlocke we're doing now, and we're like, let's plan the next like 8 seasons of this and figure out what else we can do and make all of the other spreadsheets about it.
So many spreadsheets. I love it.
So many spreadsheets. But guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for getting to the end of the episode. As always, similar to episode 1, Mike and the Showboys podcast, all the information will be down in the notes below. So go check that out. Amazing show.
Thank
Loving
you.
them over there.
Appreciate that.
But we will see you in the next episode when we head to Driftvale City.
Bye.
Peace out, everybody.
We both waved to our non-existent audience.
Bye, audience. I'm green
Oh
now.
my goodness. He's hulking out.
I'm hulking out.